This is not a virtual background. This is the real one. Where are you, Brian, right now?
This is I'm in our barrel cellar right now. This is at the end of our barrel cellar. We have just a collection of wines from the past. We've got some interesting wines. This is a good example, 1998 Meritage.
So, the Vineland was established, what, early 1990?
So the very first vines were planted in 1979.
Okay.
We're still growing those grapes. We celebrated the 40th anniversary of the vines being put in the ground. The most rewarding for us is when people come and visit us here on our property, drive up the driveway. It's stunningly beautiful.
Where is that love for Cab Franc comes from?
So it's interesting. I sleep, dream, and eat Cab Franc. I honestly do. It was Ed Grinskus that made this wine, and he's trying to explain to me the merits of growing grapes in Ontario, and he's trying to explain to me how he made the wine. But all I could think of was, this is just unbelievably good. It was so tasty. I can still taste it now, 32 years later. And it was in that moment, it formed my love for Cabernet Franc, and I began to explore. I began to just seek Cabernet Francs wherever I went, and I wanted to learn more about it, and I wanted to grow it. And finally, in 1996, we planted our boutique vineyard, and we put Cabernet Franc in those vines.
The wines are such an expression of the vintage, especially with Cabernet Franc. And so, what is the couple vintage that comes back to mind for you at Vineland, where you can say it was some of our top vintage?
So again, you really hit the nail on the head. You have to kind of ask yourself, what is it that you're looking for in Cabernet Franc in terms of the expression of wine? Are you looking for something with a lot of alcohol, a lot of richness, a lot of depth, a lot of gras, a lot of fatness? Or are you looking for something that is a little bit more lean, a little more sinewy, a little more, if you can look at some of the herbal tones that you're going to get, a little bit more presence from cooler vintages. So the hot vintages, rhyme them right off real easy. 1995, 1997, 1998, 2002, 2005, 2007, 2010, 2012, 2016, 2020. Those are all the hot years. And in those years, we're able to make these wines. Do
you go to bed every night reciting that, or what?
Those are hot, dry years that were more quintessential, what everybody believes is a quality vintage. Heat equals quality, and that's kind of a mindset that most people have. The hotter vintages, but that may not be the right metric of quality for, say, Riesling or for, say, Chardonnay. Also invested in something, Carl, that is called an optical sorter. And yes. We were the very first winery in Canada to invest in this. It's about a $500,000 machine that allows us to take the grapes that we've harvested in the vineyard, passes them across an optical camera, a camera that takes a picture of the grapes as they're passing along this belt. It identifies the underripe berries and discards them through an air blast system. So I can sort 7 to 10 tons of grapes per hour, and I can, in essence, tune in the level of ripeness that I hope to have. I'll take every grape that we shoot out of the stream, and I make rosé out of that. So we're not losing those grapes. But I call that sort of a vintage variation disruptor. And so in a year where it's a little bit cooler, I'll remove more grapes out of this process, more underripe grapes. But in a year with 2020 as an example, I took out maybe 1 or 2%. In a year like 2021, I was taking out 18 to 20%. And so what that helps us do is create the balance, and we can create a little bit more harmony from vintage to vintage.
Down, and I was sitting at a kitchen table, and I had my nose in there, and it took me up like 45 minutes, and I look at Mira and I said, I think I know. It's a juicy Pinot Noir where it meets with the earthy Cabernet Franc. So
that's amazing. I love that. You're absolutely correct. The way I've explained it, it's like the Riesling of red wine. Because there's always this juicy acidity that you're always going to get that in Pinot Meunier.
Are you a farmer or a winemaker?
Farmer, totally, completely farmer.
There you go.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Our vineyards are the most important feature of our wines. Not me, not the barrels that they age in. It's the vineyard. So all the work that we do in the vineyard, I want that to be showcased in the bottle and in the glass. I want people to taste that work. I want them to taste the place. I want them to taste the intent of those grapes. Clark Smith, he's from California, said that the job of a winemaker is to render the soul of a place into liquid music.
Wow, what a great conversation. Brian, you're so generous. Thank you so much. Just like soaked in that conversation, I had like goosebumps.